You know what I've been thinking to myself a lot recently? Weren't the 90s awesome? Ah yes, the 90s. What a perfect time to be brought up as a child. Pokemon was all the rage, there were Saturday morning cartoons, we had horrible yet entertaining blockbusters every summer, and life just couldn't be better. There truly was no time like it, and I doubt we'll ever see any of these classic things associated with the 90s ever resurface again. Okay, that's gotta be just a coincidence. Okay, well, maybe. Oh, come on, we don't even know if that's real. Well, actually, it's getting more and more plausible, especially with LeBron bringing home a championship for Cleveland. Will it actually happen? Well, only time will tell, but until then, we still have the original to make us happy. This is probably the most iconic thing from the 90s I could possibly think of, besides maybe Pokemon, Friends, or Seinfeld. But there are probably a few things from Space Jam that you didn't know, and I'm about to share some of the best ones with you today. So slip on your Hanes, lace up your Nikes, take your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and let's look at 15 phenomenal facts about Space Jam. Number 15. Poking fun at Disney. During the scene where Daffy and Bugs go up to the human world to get Michael's lucky shorts, they have a discussion on what to name their new team. Daffy, of course, throws out naming themselves the Ducks. Bugs responds,
"What kind of Mickey Mouse organization would name their team the Ducks?"
This, of course, is a reference to the hit film The Mighty Ducks, as well as when the Disney organization established a real National Hockey League team called the Ducks. Even with this jab at the rival company, Space Jam was ironically first aired as part of the wonderful world of Disney. In the end, it looks like Disney is always on top and knows what they're doing. Except maybe with that. Number 14. Daffy's jersey is more than just a Lakers reference. When Daffy is modeling potential uniforms, he states he's partial to purple and gold and is even seen wearing a jersey to match. Obviously, this is a nod to the Lakers, but it's also the colors of Jordan's fraternity from college. If you look closely in this scene, you can actually see a branded symbol of the frat on Jordan's chest. And I was never in a frat or anything like that in college. Ooh, but I do have this symbol right here from my D&D guild. I mean, my underground boxing club. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh god, did I just admit to playing Dungeons & Dragons on the internet? Number 13. Michael Jordan had his own basketball court on set. Warner Brothers really went through great lengths in order to keep their key player happy at all times. Being that this was a film that required heavy amounts of CGI and special effects, there was a lot of downtime in between takes. The studio had a private basketball court constructed just so Jordan could have something to do when he wasn't needed on camera. I wonder if Jordan had any other special treatment or endorsements going on at this time. Oh, wait. Number 12. It all started because of advertisements. It's no secret that there are endless amounts of product placement in Space Jam. Check out this classic scene, for example.
Get your Hanes on, lace up your Nikes, grab your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
It might sound a little weird now, but Space Jam is actually the product of many successful advertisements done by Nike at the time. These commercials were in collaboration with Warner Brothers and featured Michael Jordan teaming up with Bugs Bunny to take down Marvin the Martian. It's crazy to think that without these commercials being such a success, we might be without one of the most iconic movies of that time period. All the references that Wayne Knight made during that scene are from actual endorsements that Jordan had going on at the time. Looking back now, and even then, the references to Big Macs and Gatorade aren't subtle at all, and at the time they could really make the crowd groan. Today they're just kind of something funny to chuckle out. Moving on to the next one.
Good night, Newman.
Number 11. It's still the highest grossing basketball film of all time. It's bizarre to think that the title for this isn't a dramatic sports drama or an Oscar bait film with critically acclaimed actors, but rather the story of, well, this.
You see, these aliens come from outer space and they want to make us slaves in their theme park, so we challenge them to a basketball game. We need to beat these guys, because they're talking about slavery. They're going to make us do stand-up comedy, the same jokes every night for all eternity.
It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous. It's definitely preposterous.
It's really remarkable that nothing has surpassed it in the 20 years since it's been out. Yes, I hear the groans. We're getting so old. Number 10. There's a Kubrick reference? Yeah, for those of you with a keen eye, you might be able to pick out this vague shape in the corner of the screen as it passes through. This is none other than the monolith ripped straight out of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a quick little moment, so it's no wonder that this must have gone unnoticed until the rise of the internet. However, this isn't the only reference that Space Jam makes. Number 9. All the adult humor. It's pretty common for kids' films to slip in some adult jokes every once in a while to keep the parents entertained. Whether it's a clever innuendo, a pop culture reference, or even an unexpected cameo, kids' films do this all the time to keep the parents from blowing their brains out. And Space Jam is no exception. When we were kids, these may have went over our heads, but now that we're older, we can appreciate them for what they are. In this scene, the scarf the Monstars are wearing is actually a reference to Doctor Who, and this scene in general even has actors from The Simpsons and Everybody Loves Raymond, typically shows for an older audience. There's also the classic Pulp Fiction homage and, well, this joke.
Are there any other areas besides basketball where you find yourself unable to perform?
Yeah. No.
That one still cracks me up.
We've got balls!
Also, the inclusion of Bill Murray is something that kids back then may not have appreciated. However, now that we're older, we know how important of a person he is. Although, it is a little strange that he's in it at all. But, of course, this can be explained. Number 8. Bill Murray's entire presence. It's weird to think that the only major actor in this film was Bill Murray. Sure, it had famous cartoon characters and famous athletes, but no real movie stars besides Murray. So why Murray? Well, again, this all started with advertising. I bet no one remembers this, but Bill Murray actually used to be in some really bizarre commercials where he wanted to be a basketball player. This is exactly like the Bill Murray that's portrayed in the movie. He wants to be a famous basketball player, but is shot down for obvious reasons. However, he does finally get a chance to play on the Toon Squad, so I guess part of his dream did come true. Murray was also close friends with producer Ivan Reitman. Daffy even asks him how the hell he got there, and Murray just simply responds, "The producer's a friend of mine." This isn't the only aspect from real life that shaped part of the movie. Number 7. Parts of Space Jam are not fictional.
It wasn't a dream. It really happened.
Remember when Charles Barkley was in the church praying that if he got his talent back, he'd never go out with Madonna again? This isn't just a funny joke, but Barkley actually had a fling with Madonna that they're poking fun at. When Sean Bradley says he wants to return to the jungle and become a missionary again, that actually happened. This could have just been a little throwaway joke until you realize he was on a 2-year mission in Australia. And of course, the most common one, surprisingly enough, Michael Jordan quitting basketball wasn't made up for the film. He actually did leave the NBA for a brief period to play baseball, but it sounds so ridiculous you thought they would have made this up for the movie. But nope, that really happened. But it probably shouldn't have. Yeah. On to the next one. Number 6. I Believe I Can Fly is still a hit. Yes, even after all these years, the song I Believe I Can Fly is still a classic. This track was written specifically for the movie and is still R. Kelly's biggest hit to date. It won 3 Grammys, was ranked number 2 on the Billboard charts, and is still a staple of his live shows today. It's good that he'll always be remembered for this legendary moment in his career instead of that bizarre hip-hopper and, well, yeah, you know what else. Number 5. Space Jam was the debut of Lola Bunny. Although she's a regular Looney Tunes character now, she was never in any of the original cartoons. This was made up strictly for the film to appeal to a young female demographic, and for the most part, it worked. She's still featured in pretty much everything Looney Tunes related today, and that wouldn't have happened if she wasn't a hit. Although she has been panned for being bland, unidentifiable, and bizarrely enough called out as an attempt to being a sex symbol. But if you want more information on that, go watch The Nostalgia Critic. But he's 100% right. How could anyone in their right mind be attracted to bunnies? Moving on. Number 4. The Monstars have actual names? Yes, even though when we were kids we used to just call them by what color they were, they actually have real names. Although, they were never mentioned in the movie, so who could blame us? Bang is the green one, Blanco's the blue one, Pound's the orange one, Bupkis is the purple one, and Knot is that annoying red piece of shit. In fact, their alien race even has a name. They're called Nerdlux, and once again, that wasn't mentioned anywhere in the movie. Number 3. Chuck Jones hated it. For those of you who don't know who Chuck Jones is, he was a longtime Looney Tunes director and is still one of the most respected animation directors of all time. In an interview a couple years after the release of the film, Jones was highly critical of the movie, saying it strayed too far from the source material, and well, you kinda have to agree with him. Although they are the Looney Tunes, the humor isn't the same and the characters aren't really in tune with the original. Jones also stated that Bugs would never recruit others to help him dispose of the aliens, and he would have been able to dispatch them all by himself. Again, this is probably true. However, different interpretations lead to different things, and although Jones himself, as well as older generations, might not have liked it, at least this film kept the characters alive and was able to introduce them to a new generation. It's all opinion. If anything, Space Jam was helpful because kids would go back and watch the original shorts. I know that's what happened to me. So again, if it's not directly hurting anyone, there's no harm in a new adaptation for a new generation. But seriously, what the fuck did they do to Teen Titans? This isn't okay. Oh, new Samurai Jack, that's cool. Sometimes new adaptations and stuff aren't meant for the old generation, but sometimes a new adaptation could do something good. Number 2. The Space Jam website is still as it was back then. I'm serious, I won't go into it because you can check it out for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description. It's amazing that this relic from the 90s still exists, and it reeks of nostalgic awesomeness. Trust me, it's great. Number 1. Shaq is in it? Yes folks, Shaquille O'Neal is in Space Jam. There he is, right there. Amazing. Thanks for checking out my video about Space Jam. If you liked it, make sure you slap a like on it, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really want to start making new content for this channel and would love to hear what you guys want me to do. Leave it down in the comments. Also, you can click on the annotations to watch some of my other videos. Again, just thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.